What, am I talking to Lena Dunham now, or is it Dunham? Dunham.
Yes, she's literally, we got her on the phone now. Give us 30 seconds.
All right.
Have to call us.
Thank you.
Line 20.
Look at me on schedule today.
Look at you.
Guy said 7:30. Lena's calling in. I'm right on schedule.
I mean,
awesome.
after having some very interesting guests, I mean, you were very
I was professional.
disciplined.
Lena, boy, am I glad to hear from you.
Oh, my God, I'm so happy to talk to you.
First of all, I don't even know where to begin with all of this because, in a way, all right, look, let me put it this way, Lena.
Firstly, I have to tell you, it's very amazing to hear your voice saying the name Lena.
Lena, where are you now? Are you still in L.A.?
I just got off a red eye. I'm in a cab on my way back to my house in Brooklyn. Excuse my husky voice.
Were you bowled over by winning 2 Golden Globes?
It was definitely unbelievable, but the thing is that pleasure like that is followed by lots of work. So now I have, Lohan style exhaustion.
Right. I felt...
Lohan style exhaustion. I like that.
That's right. That's like Gangnam style. When I was watching the Golden Globes, I was happy for you. But,
thank you.
But your shoes were...
What happened there?
Yeah, they were so high. I felt you were wearing such high heels.
Or were your feet hurting?
I can't really walk in heels, but I still haven't sort of said no to the industrial heel complex that seems to be forced on all actresses. So I think my next move of rebellion is to wear flats to whatever else I'm invited to.
Yeah, I only wanted you to kick off those shoes and run to the stage.
So
it was really painful. I felt like I understood what it was going to be like for me at age 90 when I was hobbling up to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at some weird fringe feminist organization.
So I'm a super fan of your show. And
Thank you.
I got turned, I'll tell you how I got turned on to the show. The reason I felt so awful is because when Perez Hilton wrote his article, he told half the story. Now, I want a chance to tell this to you. So when I do the show, unlike most shows, I don't, when you're a writer, when you get to write, you edit your stuff, you get to do that. So I was thinking out loud, and my wife had said to me, I love this show, Girls. I want you to watch it, so catch up on it, so we can watch it together next season. She was
That's so sweet that you guys watch it together.
Yeah, well, so I hadn't seen the whole first season. So I said, okay, honey, I'm going to watch it. I watched 2 episodes. So I get on the air, and I said, I hate the show. I hate Lena. Her character's obnoxious. I said, your nude scenes were disturbing to me. I felt like they were taking advantage of you. It felt like rape. I said all kinds of things about the show. Because that's what I do. I just kind of ramble on.
You work it through. You work it through out loud, which is part of your appeal.
That's what I think,
It's
too.
like showing your math work.
Which is embarrassing enough. So normally, nobody even pays attention, but I guess Perez was having a slow day, so it wasn't even at that point. So then so I go home and I watch 3 more episodes. And I realize not only am I addicted, but I totally get you. I'm in love with you and your character.
Thank you.
That I had a change of my mind. And evidently, I'm not allowed to change my mind.
You're stuck with whatever you say first.
When I came in and said it, my fans immediately say, "Oh, you're a pussy, you're a jerk, you're apologizing." I said, I had a change of mind. I watched it. It was the episode where your boyfriend is at the table. He takes a call, and he's talking about pussy or something, and he hangs up the phone.
He says, "Where are you? Are you out getting your pussy pounded?" And then it turns out to be a sister.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. And all of a sudden it hit me. I started to compare you to Woody Allen. I said, here's a girl who writes like Woody Allen. She's got a character, and the whole thing came together for me. So I came in, and I said to Robin on the air, I changed my mind. I love the show. And I love Lena, and I love what she's doing with it, and how hard it is to write and produce and direct, and to, it's insanely difficult.
So much.
Yeah. So, it would have been big nothing. You never would have heard about it. But Perez picked it up, and listen, I did say those things.
Well, that's okay, and I actually would have heard about it because one of my best friends, Jemima Kirk, who's on the show, listens to every day, as does her husband, Mike, and their hearts would be torn asunder if you and I did not speak on the air.
And not only that...
I was going to ask what her exposure to this was, because we don't even know what she heard, what happened. And
by the way, there's a report in the Hollywood Reporter today that says that I've apologized to you on the air because you won 2 Golden Globes. And if you know anything about me, it's not about apologizing, although I want to say I'm a fan of yours and I love your show and I think.
But it took you a little while to warm up.
I'm sorry, the first 2 you probably figured people would find your character annoying. That's the idea of it.
Well, I've never been threatened by that idea.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to tell you that I love you and that I think you're terrific. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, and then I saw you on Letterman.
I feel the same way. And if you saw when I talked about it on Letterman, I was excited and was extolling the virtues of your particular brand of free speech. And I'm totally psyched about what you do. And seriously considering that gravestone.
No, you were very gracious, actually. You were very gracious. So, hey, while I got you on the phone, not only am I telling you that I love you and adore your show,
but I still don't know how she found out about it.
Yeah, how'd you find out that I was being very critical and horrible?
I'll tell you, that's such a sort of sweet way of putting it, oddly. You sound that's a little bit how my grandma would put it, very critical and horrible.
Yes.
But I found out about it because we were at the Today Show. Jemima and I were sitting backstage, half asleep at 4:30 in the morning, and the producer said, this morning on the air, Howard Stern said he loves girls. And I was really excited because I'm a fan. I don't listen to you every day, but when I do, I get a lot of pleasure out of it. I really like private parts. So anyway, Jemima goes, oh, wow, that's amazing. The producer walks away, and she goes, that's a lie. And I can't do her accent. It's funny when she goes, that's a lie. And then I was like, what? And she was like, that is not what Howard Stern thinks. He actually said he hated the show and that you look like Jonah Hill. And then I started laughing because I thought it was funny.
I thought that was a good line.
You know, here's what I will say. I enjoy the little fat chick label.
Right.
You have a very beautiful, slim wife.
Yes.
I'm not that fat, Howard. I mean, I don't need to take major issue with you about this, but I'm not super thin, but I'm thin for, like, Detroit, you know?
Yes,
but Hollywood.
But you play up the fat thing. Like that scene where the guy jiggles your fat on your belly.
Yes.
And I have the same fat on my belly, even though I kind of look okay in clothes and thin. So, listen, I'm hypercritical of guys who are heavy. I'm hypercritical of women who are, it's like... You play up the fat angle with the jiggling of the belly.
She was the one in the show who says, you know, when her boyfriend says you're not that fat, she goes, I'm 13 pounds overweight.
Right. But no, you're not obese or anything.
Right.
Thank you. Another thing for my gravestone, Howard Stern says I'm not obese or anything.
Yeah. You see, this is all coming out horribly.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your effort to rectify it. And whether you've done that or not, I would have remained a enthusiast for.
No, I think you're brilliant, and I love the show. And I haven't watched the first episode. Did you bow to pressure, Lena? They were saying that the show didn't include enough races in the show. It was all white people. Did you? Someone just ruined it for me and told me in the first episode you have a black boyfriend.
Right.
I do. Donald Glover.
Yeah. Was that the pressure put on you to sort of make the show include more races?
You know, what I've been saying to people about that is just that, firstly, Donald was an actor that we've always wanted to work with. And, you know, on HBO, you have 10 episodes. You start with 10 episodes. So it takes a little while to set up your world and set up your main characters, and then you expand. So I felt like, well, I understood the criticisms. We had, and excuse me if I'm being inarticulate in my morning haze, but while I understood the criticisms, I felt like we had only 10 episodes to really dig in. And season 2, we were going to bring in all kinds of new people if we were given the chance to make a season 2. And now we were, so we're working with a lot of actors we were excited about. Some of them are black, some of them are white, some of them are Asian. And, but I will say that working with Donald, it was an exciting opportunity we're a show that discusses issues. So we would have hit, and we're just a show that discusses issues that affect people in their 20s. So we would have hit on race sooner or later. And working with Donald at this moment was an interesting chance to explore that. And it was probably on my mind a little bit more because of the sort of intensive dialogue that had surrounded those first 10 episodes.
I sort of felt bad for you because it's like, you know, does every show have to be racially mixed? It doesn't. I mean, when that kind of pressure goes on, I just wonder if a writer responds to it or not and, like, says, okay, now I've got to do this. And I don't know if that's fair.
Our our crew's pretty good at blocking out the world, but I will say that I think a conversation about race in television is one that needs to happen. And if our show is able to spark an interesting dialogue on that topic, I'm totally willing to take one for the team and sort of sit back and allow that conversation to happen. But it's definitely upsetting when people sort of, accuse you personally of having like a closed and narrow worldview because of the cast of your show.
Was it an accident that all of the girls cast on the show have famous fathers?
Total accident.
Wow.
I understand how you would think I was like a Bengali genius who created a famous daughter's girl band.
Right. That is genius. But
I know.
Now,
if I did it, I'd be applauding myself, but unfortunately I don't have that kind of publicity foresight.
Why are you everyone talks about your bravery being nude, and it is brave. I mean, God, I could never be nude like that. But why are the other girls, why are they not naked?
They get a little more naked as they go on.
Right.
But I think my big thing is, firstly, my character is sort of the one having the most sort of, sexual pratfalls, if you will.
Right.
But also, it runs really counter to my nature. I think people who want to be nude should be nude. I don't want to be like a 57-year-old creepy man producer and pressure anyone into it. And I think
have you approached the other girl, like Brian Williams' daughter, very beautiful girl? Is she does she have in her contract, I will not be nude?
No. She plays a character who's super closed to her own sexuality. So she's not really playing somebody who's supposed to be sort of running through the streets with no bra on. We're all doing our jobs.
But will you ever write in a scene for her where the challenge will be that she has to be with a guy and she has to be naked?
You never know what the future of the show will hold, but Allison I would say she is less excited about wielding those parts of herself than I am, but she's really open to the sexual content of the show because
but don't you think Brian Williams, her dad is the anchor man, Brian Williams, don't you think her dad's going to be hey, listen, honey, I'm the anchor man. I'm with NBC. I got a heavy job here. No way you're showing your boobs on camera.
I haven't delved into the intricacies of their relationship. I have a dad who paints, large pictures of penises, so that's my experience. So he does. Yeah, you should Google him. Carol Dunham. Howard, you'd like his work.
What's his name?
Carol Dunham.
Carol Dunham.
Carroll. I think you'd really like it.
So your dad probably doesn't care that you're naked. He's probably like, hey, that's beautiful. It's an expression. Blah blah blah.
Totally. I mean, he doesn't want to watch me getting railed every week, but yes.
Right. Brian Williams comes to the set a lot, right?
Brian Williams visits. He's a delight.
Yeah, but, I mean, I bet he's telling his daughter she can't be naked. I'm telling you.
I can't see behind closed doors, but I will say he's wildly supportive of us.
Right.
Naked or not.
Lena, when you're writing this show, do you have like a theme? Because it only is 10 shows in a season. Do you have a point at which you start and you know where you want to go with Lena, with your character throughout that arc?
Yeah, you start with sort of a sense of the architecture of the season, and then as you keep going and see what's working, and sort of, you go, oh, it's actually really, really fun to see, Marnie and Ray fight, and we want to have a lot more of that. And so the beauty is that you're writing as you go. You have the sort of bones of it, but then you write as you go, and you can shift things based on what's successful and what's not. And sometimes, you have a wild stroke of genius, and sometimes you stick to your plan. And it's really nice to have 10 episodes and not have the pressure of a network. I mean, I'd imagine the 22 episode network thing. I can't believe that you guys go on the air every day.
I can't believe it either.
And you see what trouble we get into.
So, Lena, how much of this is based on your real life? Did some dude go to bed with you and grab your belly and start shaking it?
I think I actually did have a belly shaker in my past. But, these are a belly shaker. But, some of it is real. Some of it is not.
All right, let me ask you this. You have a scene where, I love the scene where, it's that awkward anal sex scene.
Yeah, the wrong hole scenario.
Yeah. So, in real life, have you had anal?
Howard.
Go ahead.
You are my favorite. and I am so excited to talk to you, but I'm so sleepy. I can't do this.
Yeah, I hear you. But it is amazing to me that your career is so blessed. You wrote a little film, Tiny Furniture. Judd Apatow sees it. Judd Apatow. And all of a sudden he sees it. He contacts you. He says, "Hey, how'd you like to work together?" And you start, and then you have a hit TV show. You probably think show
business
isn't
seem that way to
difficult.
you? That it's
probably,
just been easy?
You're probably like, what are all these people whining about?
I feel crazy lucky. I think because I had artist parents, I sort of witnessed like the ups and downs and challenges of a creative career. And I'm an anxious half to. I never am sitting there thinking everything is going to be an easy ride forever. I'm like in the car waiting for the accident. That being said, I feel so crazy lucky. I love everyone I work with. I mean, the Globe situation was just absurd.
Right.
And then I get to do things like talk to you.
Who did you want to meet at the Golden Globes? Who did you sidle up to and say, "I'm a big fan"?
Yeah.
I'm really into Scandal, so I followed Kerry Washington around like on a monstrous loop and never actually caught up with her.
Oh, you're kidding.
What is her scandal?
No, she's in a TV show called Scandal.
Oh, I don't watch
really
that
good.
show. I'm out of it. I don't even watch that show.
It's really good. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like it's governmental intrigue, Howard. And then I also like staring at the cast of Nashville. I'm a big Jennifer Lawrence fan. When Bill Clinton showed up, I flipped my wig. I mean, it was a very exciting. It was.
Did you like Jodie Foster's speech? I thought it was incoherent, except for the part about her mom, which I thought was moving. I didn't know what the hell she was. She was coming out. She wasn't coming out. She wants privacy, but she's in the film. I mean, it was all over the place. I didn't understand the emotion there. Did you?
I thought it was really beautiful, and the reason I thought it was beautiful is because I thought it expressed all of sort of like the challenges and ambiguities of having a really brilliant career that was sort of thrust on you, and it wasn't doing the sort of beginning, middle, and end thing that speeches are supposed to do, because we're so used to people coming on. We're so used to sort of like a political speech with a canned message, and she was really kind of like doing no less than expressing the complexity of her existence, and I found it very moving.
Really? I bet you a lot of these celebs were kissing your ass because you know what it is.
You can give them jobs.
You can give them jobs now. I mean, you're a writer, and that's, they need that. Everybody's looking for words to, be put in their mouth. So were people just coming up to you the whole night? Like you could kind of tell they were auditioning in a weird way?
I have to tell you, I left so early. I'm the worst at parties. I come, I survey the buffet, I go. And I just felt like, is that what you're like?
Yeah, why is that? Because you just feel like you don't fit in?
It's partially feeling like I don't fit in. It's partially a desperate love of being in my own apartment and or space. And I also always feel like I have some writing or some thinking to do that I'm avoiding. There's never a time of my day where I don't feel like there's some work I ought to be doing.
Wow.
I feel the same way.
Puttering around.
God bless you.
So these parties are just a waste of time.
They are a waste of time. She is right. This is a girl with her head on her shoulders. You are so right. Because really, at the end of the night, what have you done? Had a couple of drinks and what? Sat there and tried to have some kind of conversation?
Yeah,
with
try
someone?
to make George Clooney know who you are.
Right.
Yeah, I really reject the notion that all of these things are, in quotes, a part of your job. I mean, of course I want to go and celebrate with other cast members and, give HBO whatever props they deserve, but I don't think staying till 1:30 is part of your job description.
How do you learn how to write a script? I mean, did you go to school for that?
I went to school for creative writing, so I never really had a sense of like script format, but I guess creative writing gives you sort of a sense of story in a certain way. But I still am so confused by my Final Draft Pro software.
Yeah, like when you have to submit a script, were you ever worried that Judd's going to see it and be critical because it doesn't have the right format?
Judd will let me show him what he calls a vomit pass. Like, he will read anything, and he's so kind and open about it. But the first few scripts I wrote in Microsoft Word and formatted myself. And when I look at them now, it truly looks like, an ESL student's homework.
Yeah, I'm actually inspired. What I'm going to do is just go get a bunch of those independent films and tap some young person to come work with, my production company and pitch them. I'm doing this. I'm doing what Judd did with Lena.
That's awesome, Howard.
Did you just sign a $3.7 million book deal?
I signed a book deal.
$3.7 million, it says on Gawker.
Gawker's a website that I don't read because they're so sassy.
Yeah, but you're denying the $3.7 mil?
I'm not denying it. I just think that I was raised to know that talking about your own money wasn't very classy.
You said something that I really admire. You don't understand celebrities who don't want to talk about their love relationship because you're like, and this is what I always say. I had what's the big actor now who's nominated for Academy Award?
Bradley?
Bradley Cooper. And I said to him, he was going out with Zoe Saldana at the time, and he goes, yeah, you know, I said, why don't you walk the red carpet with her and stuff? He goes, no, why? So people could take pictures of me. I said, when I'm in love with somebody, I love walking around with them.
Well, you notice they're off again.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that. But he's not the only one. I don't mean to single Bradley out. But you said you said the same thing. When you're in love with someone, it's fun to go walk around with them and be with them. Why?
Maybe
is it such a
they know
secret?
they're not so in love.
Yeah, but some people are engaged and stuff, and they still won't talk about that they're getting married.
Oh, you're talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z when they weren't even married and they were married.
Right, Lena?
I mean, I think it's hyper-personal, and certain people suddenly feel like the one part of their life that's sacred is having some weird light shone on it. But I have a really awesome boyfriend.
I know, the guy...
I never thought I'd know.
What is he? He's a drummer, right?
He's a guitarist.
Guitarist in the band Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not embarrassed by that.
No, he's super cool guy. He's the best. And like, you know, way more smart and adorable and wonderful than anyone I ever thought would be hanging out with me. But he, and it was so nice. He came with me to the Globes and...
Right, you're happy to show him off, right?
Yeah.
But what is this showing off? Are people, trinkets for you people to be
it's
showing
fun.
off?
It's fun to go with your boyfriend and say...
Yeah, but I'm just looking at your choice of words.
Well, it is fun. Beth will say to me, you know what? I want you to come with me. I want to trot you around. And I go, yeah, I'm going to trot you around. And then we like that. We make fun of that. We think it's great. We don't want to hide our love.
Yeah, but maybe people don't want to be trotted.
Very sweet relationship.
We do, damn it. Lena,
I'm very happy for you.
I'm happy for you. Your boyfriend, though, he dated Scarlett Johansson. Is that intimidating? Because she's like, a sex symbol type. That do you? Because your insecurity comes out in the show. Like you go, when you do your writing, you're like, oh, why is this guy with me? What is it? You're always suspicious of these guys and the relationship. When you have a boyfriend who dated...
You've done your research. You've done your way back...
He sat and watched the whole season.
And not only did I watch the whole season, then I watched the 3 episodes of them interviewing you and the cast and Judd. I'm a fan.
You Googled my boyfriend.
I did. If he dates Scarlett Johansson, do you ever turn to him and say, oh, what, like, do you ever ask him about that, or do you just keep that out of the relationship?
That's not... It doesn't give me that much anxiety. And also... Howard, now I'm having to air someone else's dirty laundry. I really understand how people get into trouble on this program.
Don't get into trouble. I mean, but seriously, Lena, it's an issue, isn't it?
No, I feel good. I feel okay.
Now, aren't you sorry you trotted him out?
Okay. When somebody makes you feel special, I don't think you're that concerned about things like that.
All right. Well, I've never actually made someone feel special, so I don't know anything about that. Listen, Lena, I'm not going to keep you all morning, but I want you to...
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
I love your show. I love you. And
I thought
don't care.
I had found a secret treasure when I first found the show, when it was first aired on HBO. It was so good.
Can you guys do me one favor in exchange for saying I look like Jonah Hill, who, by the way, I think is a very handsome man. It's just that he's a man and I'm a lady.
Right.
Can you say hi, Jemima and Mike, because they're my bestest friends and they love you so much?
Who is this?
Jemima and Mike. Jemima's the British girl on my show.
Right.
Oh, Jemima.
Her husband.
The blonde.
Yeah, the beautiful blonde, Jessa.
My wife thinks she's the hottest girl on the show. And she always says to me...
I think everyone's incredibly hot, but I think, and I find they're like all my daughters. I think each one's more beautiful than the next. But I think Jemima has a sexual essence. I mean, when I used to watch
That's it, yeah.
9 months pregnant, guys would hit on her and ignore me.
If somebody isn't nice to you, if one of the cast members, one of the girls sort of like is mean to you, will you write them less scenes?
Well, it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. They're all such an integral part of the whole thing that it's hard for me to imagine. I think I probably shouldn't say this on air, but I think I'd probably take a fair amount of abuse.
Right. Well, anyway, first of all, hi to Jemima.
Oh, yay!
I question that name, Jemima. I would not. Does she like that name?
What happens when she becomes an aunt?
Right, Aunt Jemima.
Elegant British name. She is an aunt, and it's an elegant British name. It has different connotations in the UK.
You're saying she's an aunt and they call her Aunt Jemima.
They must. She is an aunt.
That's wild. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Aunt Jemima, because they're British.
That's the greatest thing you ever revealed.
Yeah. I'm
Was
pretty
she
thrilled about it.
Well, listen. Hello, Aunt Jemima, and Lena. By the way, Lena also took. This is a little fact I know. She took a lot of crap from her fans because she's friends with Taylor Swift on Twitter.
Oh, is she?
Which I think is funny. That her fans are on her for that.
It was only a small segment of jerks with mustaches, you know?
Right. Well, anyway, here's what I want to say to you in closing. I actually think it's funny that the story blew up, and I like any kind of publicity.
Actually, it got us talking, so that's great.
Yeah, so I think that's great. The only person I was concerned about is you. I didn't want you to think anything differently than me. So I certainly apologize to you that you got the wrong impression about my feelings. And I do really find your show fantastic. I'm a fan.
I appreciate it.
And I love what you're doing, and thank you for entertaining me.
Thank you, and I really appreciate the conversation and the shout-out to Jemima and the media training I got from trying to avoid your sassy questions.
Did they prepare you for this interview?
Oh, no. I'm doing this. I'm going in cold. How do you think I did?
This was rogue.
You did great.
Did anyone tell you not to do it? To say, well, listen, Howard can turn on you and do terrible things. Was anyone warning you not to come on the show?
No, I think people were excited. I think people were excited by the idea of a fixer-upper between us. And I think they just thought, as long as I wasn't sacrificing a piece of myself, it was an appropriate move.
I don't think you sacrificed anything. And listen, thank you for calling in. I feel good that I got to speak to you.
I feel good that we got to speak to, and I appreciate it. And I hope you knew that I was not losing sleep over it, and I hope you did not either.
Well, I did actually, because I was just upset that you didn't know that I was a fan. Now you do know, and
the thing that bothered me most was seeing that.
Nap.
Right. What was that, Robin?
That people were bringing it up at the premiere of the season.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, here's a big celebration, and people are quoting Howard and misquoting Howard.
Well, in a way, though, it was good for the show Girls, right? It got a lot of attention.
I guess it must have.
It really did.
Well, good. Then thank you. Then we'll count you among our street team.
Yeah, Lena, you should call me and thank me for doing wonderful things for you. Right.
This cycle could go on forever.
Lena, thanks. I'm really glad I got to talk to you, and thank you for calling in. I know it's early.
Thanks for having me, guys. I hope you have a really great day.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
That's Lena Dunham. The show is Girls. And I assure you, there was no pressure on me to apologize or anything.
Who could pressure you?
No one.
Where would the pressure be coming from?
Well, that's Hollywood reporters like, she won, and now I don't care about any of that. I cared about this young 23-year-old girl.
Very creative, amazing girl.
Yeah, I wanted to go on record as saying I liked the show.